Hello again. Here we are. It's a gloomy Saturday afternoon, so let's talk about music. Why not? I'm going to start with some 45s today because I've got a few. And I like 45s. I've come round to them a bit. I never really used to get into them that much just because they were a bit overwhelming in record shops. Didn't really know where to begin and because they don't always have that much information. But now, thanks to the internet, it's a lot easier to check the music before you buy, and obviously buying on the internet is a lot easier now as well. So yeah, I've really got into it in the last few years. Um, so let's start. Now back on the wall there is Jimmy Salcedo, who I was showing a few weeks ago, a few months ago. Colombian all-round entertainer who had some very funky music and some very unfunky music. But his records are very difficult to get outside of Colombia. But fortunately, the people at Vampi Soul have released this 45, Malaguango, which is really lovely. It's him at his best when he's doing his good stuff. Nice tune, funky, lots of weird synthesizers going on, so definitely worth checking out. It's quite an amusing B-side as well on the same synthesizer sort of thing. So yeah, he's always worth a listen, Jimmy Salcedo. But yeah, when it's not so great, it's not so great. But when it's good, it's fantastic. Nice soul record here. Only recently released, but it's an old record from the late 70s, I should think, by a band called the Copacetics. Watch Out is the name of the tune. Lovely swing to this one, really good. Yeah, don't know much to say about that, but enjoy it, definitely. And actually an old record here, really good B-side. The A-side here, Thelma Jones, Salty Tears, lovely, great, sort of deep, well not deep soul, it's on Columbia, so it's quite soft, but great soul record. But the B-side is equally great. You're the Song That I Can't Stop Singing. Really lovely, bold and brassy song here. Very much in the Marlena Shaw style, and she was signed to Columbia at the same time, pretty much. What's it, 76? Yeah, 76. Very similar to those kind of records, but really lovely. Love that classic rare groove sound there. Brilliant. And one more, another new old one. This came out in 2017, but it had never previously been released, by a group called the Aristocrats. Loving You Is Mellow, on Expansion. Now, the original Loving You Is Mellow was famously recorded by Major Harris on this very cheap and cheerful LP of good old cracking Philadelphia soul, with a quite memorable cover. But this is even better. I think this is a really nice funky version of this song, Loving You Is Mellow. So nice. Glad to have that one. What else have I been listening to recently? Well, I've been listening to a bit of jazz, unlike me, but Brazilian jazz, I would say. Now, I'm not a great jazz fan. There's so much music in the world to listen to. Sometimes I find it like I don't have the patience for a lot of jazz. But when you do get things that are nice, they're really nice. So I can enjoy them. Now this is a jazz record, and it's kind of like an easy listening record, really. Antonio Carlos Jobim, Wave, lovely. I mean, it walks a thin line between jazz and elevator music, but it's very pleasant when you're in the mood for this sort of thing. Lovely covers on CTI as well, which I always appreciate. So yeah, that's one. And also on CTI, perhaps a bit more esteemed, this album is by a group called Timbre 4, We and the Sea. This is a Mexican copy, unusually, Nosotros y el Mar, but it's the same record. And lovely cover again. Really lovely music though. They've got a lot of those classic Brazilian licks, if you like, as their sort of motifs. But the sound is really, really wonderful, and I can really get swept up in this. It's a very sun-drenched sound. I mean, the picture sums it all up. but it goes into all sorts of things, and it almost gets like classical music in parts. Really lovely record. I only actually got this because I was buying something on Discogs, I think, and just to make the most of the postage. I got this as well, and I'm quite glad I did, because it's a really nice record, and I'd recommend that one thoroughly. One more Brazilian jazz record, Dom Salvador, perhaps more famous for the funk records that he did with his band. I've got it here, yeah, Abolição. It's a very famous record. This is a very dodgy bootleg edition of this classic record, very piano-driven funk. But here he's just in jazz mode. It's the Salvador Trio, it says. And this came out, must have been a while back now, 15 years ago, yeah, on What Music. It was a great reissue label. I think I've shown other stuff by them before. And it's got a lot of the licks and the motifs that he would later use with Abolição, but in a slightly more jazz trio sound. But really nice stuff on here, and very listenable in the same way. Though, I mean, obviously, this is more up my street. Classic record. This one, full of just big piano heavy breaks, everything. Lovely stuff, that one. Okay, bit of reggae. Well, Doug, Fat City Vinyl, has been doing a sterling series of videos on British reggae. And there's this album, which was originally recommended to me by Mark from Dr. Rhythm. And it was quite difficult to track down a copy, particularly in lockdown, but I managed to find one eventually. And here it is. This is the group Tribesmen. It's an interesting record. Some of it goes over my head a bit. I'm not totally wowed by it, but the good bits are really great in that kind of mellow, trippy, zoned out kind of reggae sound that I really like. It's quite pop in a lot of parts, but yeah, really lovely stuff here. Your Smile is one I like. Sunday Morning, lots of really good stuff. There's lots of great British reggae bands from this time, which I guess is 1979. So yeah, late 70s, early 80s. This band reminded me a lot of another band, Revelation. They've got similar kind of sound in some ways, but yeah, an interesting album worth checking out. And sticking with Mark from Dr. Rhythm, I was listening to his show the other day, and he played a bit of Cleveland Watkins, who was a very famous, or still is a very famous British musician who appears and has appeared in things for ages. Just crops up on records all the time. A bit of a face, I think, a bit of a player. Here's one of his earliest records. Nice Lovers Rock record for you. Give Me What You Got. It's a good old version of an Al Jarreau song. That's where he first started out, I think. Cleveland Watkins. There he's just called Cleve. But there you go. Nice one to have. And cover versions and reggae music. Lovers Rock. I think somebody was saying the other day there's a new edition or a new volume of that compilation series on Athens in the North of reggae cover versions, and there's a nice one from Al Jarreau. Here's another one actually from Carol Thompson and Trevor Walters. Love Won't Let Me Wait. Quite nice, bringing us back very nicely to that record, which the original is from here as well. Anyway, that's a bit of the stuff I've been listening to lately. I'll put a few samples on, try and keep it quick. Until next time.
Deep down inside of me. And what is this Reggae.